Welcome in, I'm MJ, and this is the Styled Space channel. I'm truly happy to have you here. Today, we transform your vision of a cramped studio into an elegant Parisian sanctuary, a place where every 25 square meters breathes sophistication, warmth, and intentional design. This isn't just decorating, it's emotional architecture. By the end of this journey, you'll understand how Parisian designers create luxury, living in micro-apartments through strategic spatial psychology, curated minimalism, and emotional styling principles that make rooms feel twice their size while doubling their meaning. Subscribe, like, and comment for more design inspiration. Chapter 1, Welcome to Tiny Parisian Living. The Parisian philosophy isn't about square footage, it's about intention. In Paris, apartments under 25 square meter are sanctuaries, not starter homes. The difference? Every item serves a purpose. Every color choice creates emotion. Every light source builds atmosphere. Parisians understand that luxury isn't measured in space, it's measured in how a room makes you feel. Your 1525 square meter studio isn't a limitation. It's an opportunity to prove that intimacy, elegance, and functionality can coexist in harmony. This is where the magic happens. Chapter 2, The Invisible Architecture, Creating Rooms Without Walls. Your 25 square meter studio is one open room. So how do Parisians create the feeling of separate spaces? A bedroom, a living area, a workspace, without walls? The answer is invisible architecture. It's the strategic arrangement of furniture, the deliberate placement of lighting, the subtle color shift, the raised platform bed. These invisible walls create psychological boundaries that divide function without dividing flow. When done correctly, your studio doesn't feel cramped. It feels like multiple intimate spaces seamlessly connected. Chapter 3. The Parisian Palette, Foundation Colors for Expansion. The color palette is your primary tool for spatial expansion. Walk into a Parisian apartment and you immediately notice the color strategy. 70% warm neutral, cream, warm taupe, soft beige, 30% accent, blush, muted sage, dusty blue. This ratio isn't accidental. The dominant neutral calms the eye, making space feel larger. The accent colors provide emotional depth, preventing the room from feeling cold or sterile. It's a calculated balance between expansion and warmth, minimalism and soul. Chapter 4. Lighting, where utility meets magic. Light is architecture. In tiny spaces, this principle is magnified. One overhead fixture creates institutional flatness. But layer 3 distinct light sources at different heights: natural daylight through sheer curtains, a sculptural pendant above the imaginary dining zone, a soft wall sconce near the bed, and suddenly your 20m2 studio transforms into a gallery of intimate lighting moments. Each light source serves a function while creating emotional atmosphere. This is how Parisians turn small spaces into sanctuaries. Chapter 5. Mirrors, optical magic without walls. Mirrors are the secret weapon of Parisian tiny space design. A well-placed mirror doesn't just reflect light, it reflects the room itself, doubling the perceived depth. Hang a large mirror, 1.5 plus tall, on the wall opposite your window, and suddenly your room feels twice as deep. The reflection tricks the eye into believing space extends further than it actually does. This isn't decoration. It's optical architecture. Add a secondary mirror in a corner, and you've multiplied your visual space by nearly 2x without adding a single piece of furniture. Chapter 6. Curated furniture. Less is more, but choose brilliantly. In a 20m2 studio, you have approximately 8m2 of furniture space, 40% of total floor. This constraint forces brilliance. Every furniture piece must justify its existence through dual function or exceptional aesthetic. A sofa must be beautiful and convertible into a guest bed. A storage console must store and display. A bed frame must be functional and visually light, not heavy Victorian mahogany, but minimalist metal frame or simple platform. The Parisian approach isn't minimalism for minimalism's sake. It's strategic curation where each object earns its place. Chapter 7. Vintage meets modern, the Parisian heart. A room filled entirely with new IKEA furniture feels incomplete, soulless. A room overstuffed with mismatched vintage pieces feels cluttered. The Parisian formula is the 30-70 balance: 30% vintage soul, 70% modern function. One inherited ornate mirror becomes the focal conversation starter. One mid-century wooden chair adds authentic character. One vintage brass candlestick tells a personal story. These pieces anchor the room in authenticity. The remaining 70% modern furniture provides clean lines, durability, and functional optimization. Soul meets pragmatism. Chapter 8. Texture layering depth through touch. When your palette is predominantly neutral, cream, taupe, white, wood, texture becomes your primary vehicle for visual interest and sensory richness. A room of flat surfaces, synthetic sofa, smooth walls, plastic accessories, feels cold and lifeless. But layer 4-6 distinct textures, and suddenly your neutral palette becomes luxuriously tactile. Imagine running your hand across a linen curtain, then a velvet cushion, then a wool throw, then woven basket, then polished wood, then cool ceramic. Each texture tells a story of material authenticity. This multisensory experience is what transforms a decorated apartment into a sanctuary. Chapter 9, Smart Storage, Luxury Without Clutter. The ultimate Parisian secret is invisible storage. Your apartment feels elegant because you can't see the stuff. 70% of items are hidden behind cabinet doors, within drawers, under the bed. Only 30% of your possessions are on display. This ratio creates visual calm while maintaining functional access. A studio with every book, dish, and decorative object visible is visually overwhelming. But the same studio with books organized in a closed cabinet, kitchen items hidden in drawers, and daily use objects strategically displayed feels spacious, intentional, and luxurious. Storage is design. Chapter 10, Sculptural Lighting, where utility meets art. Lighting fixtures aren't just functional, they're architectural statements. In a tiny space, 1-2 statement lighting pieces replace the need for 5-6 scattered lamps. A sculptural brass pendant above your imaginary dining table draws the eye. A minimalist wall sconce with elegant geometry becomes focal art. A floor arc lamp with a sweeping curve adds architectural drama. These aren't afterthoughts, they're design elements. When someone enters your studio, the lighting fixtures are among the first things they notice and admire. Chapter 11, Walls That Tell Your Story, Gallery Curation. Bare walls in a minimalist apartment feel unfinished, but walls covered with random artwork feel chaotic. The Parisian solution is the curated gallery wall, 5-9 pieces arranged with intention and spacing. These pieces aren't haphazard, they're orchestrated. A collection of personal photographs arranged in symmetrical grid. An abstract print paired with an architectural drawing. A mirror leaning against the wall. Small sculptures on floating shelves. Each piece is chosen carefully, arranged with purpose, spaced consistently. The result is a wall that tells your story, reflects your aesthetics, and creates visual interest without overwhelming. Chapter 12, Bringing Life Indoors, Biophilic Integration. A studio with only furniture and art feels sterile. Add plants and it becomes alive. The Parisian approach to greenery is selective. 3-5 plants positioned strategically, not 15 plants creating jungle effect. Each plant chosen for visual and air-purifying contribution. A large statement plant, olive tree, tall pothos, by a window adds vertical visual interest and life energy. A medium snake plant on a shelf provides oxygen production and sculptural form. A small succulent on a shelf adds subtle green accent. This botanical integration is both aesthetic and functional, improving air quality while adding living beauty. Chapter 13, The Fifth Sense, Fragrance and Atmosphere. Design engages all 5 senses. You've designed what you see, lighting, color, objects, what you touch, textures, what you hear, soft, not loud. Now design what you smell. A signature scent anchors your apartment in memory. Entering your studio, a visitor doesn't consciously notice fragrance, but their brain registers. This smells like home. This smells intentional. The Parisian approach uses subtle scents, not aggressive air fresheners, but carefully chosen fragrances that complement the interior aesthetic. A vanilla or sandalwood scent in a beeswax candle. A fresh eucalyptus diffuser in the work zone. These scents become part of your home's identity. Chapter 14, Refinement, the Invisible Mathematics of Beauty. You've layered all elements: space, light, color, furniture, textures, storage, plants, fragrance. Now comes refinement, the invisible mathematics that transforms good design into exceptional design. This is the rule of thirds, the golden ratio, the subtle proportional relationships that your eye registers as beauty without conscious analysis. Place your focal point, mirror, art, lamp, not in the center, but off-center following the rule of thirds. Position furniture balancing visual weight across the room, not all heavy pieces on one side. Space gallery pieces with intention rather than random distribution. Chapter 15. Holistic Vision, Your Parisian Sanctuary Revealed. You stand at the threshold of your 20m2 sanctuary. Morning light filters through linen curtains, illuminating cream walls and casting soft shadows on wooden floors. A brass pendant light awaits evening activation. Your gallery wall tells your story. Your textures invite touch. Your plants breathe life. Your scent anchors you in sensory memory. Your negative space breathes. Your furniture, curated and proportional, creates distinct zones. Your storage holds abundance while displaying intention. You've created something remarkable, a tiny space that feels limitless, luxurious, and utterly, authentically yours. This is not design, this is emotional architecture. Thank you for joining this design journey. You've learned how Parisian designers transform constraint into elegance, how negative space becomes luxury, how light creates emotion, how textures deepen connection, how storage disappears into invisibility, how plants breathe life, how fragrance anchors memory, how intention transforms rooms into sanctuaries. Now it's your turn. Choose one principle today, perhaps negative space. Move some furniture, create breathing room. Tomorrow, add lighting. The day after, introduce a texture. Small, intentional changes compound into remarkable transformation. Your tiny Parisian sanctuary awaits. Build it with consciousness. Live it with joy. Like this video if you believe tiny spaces hold boundless beauty.